This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Express monorail.
Caramba, we have something really big for you today.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's pod. This show for the week of December 16th, 2024. And we've got some quick hits, some news, Poly Tower, show ride closings. But then this is our 2025 prediction show. Last week, we went over our 2024 predictions. And a year from now, we'll go over, review how smart or how stupid we seemed today with our 2025 predictions. But first, there's a little bit of news, Phil, before we dive into that. What was announced in the last couple days?
Yeah, I think kind of the big thing was that media was getting previews, and I believe it opens sometime. It might be tomorrow, sometime this week for the first bookings. People staying at the Island Tower DVC at the Polynesian Resort, and I know this one was while it was being built, and we were joking about like, oh, another shade of paint went up and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, it's such an eyesore. But now that it's actually open and people are in there, reactions seem to be sort of positive about it. And,
Shocker.
I saw one, I think Thrill Geek said in theirs that it's the first time they can remember going in one and not seeing any area that seemed like they cheaped out on, that it just seemed like it was made well, and lots of kind of little garden areas. And I don't know, it just looked, some areas definitely looked a little beige. I wouldn't mind a little more color and stuff, but it looks pretty nice, and it does have some pretty amazing views out onto Seven Seas Lagoons and stuff like that.
It's a shocker that if people just waited until it was done and maybe see it in person, that their opinions could have changed. The outside of the building is not awe-inspiring when you see it from a distance. It kind of the colors kind of blend together. I really like the way they had like stenciled some of the artwork on the side of the building. That looks really nice. But we've only been getting, there's some people that have used really good cameras to take pictures, but again, it's always from like the ferry or the monorail or like through construction, walls, stuff like that. But the one thing that initially hit me was this resort is absolutely gorgeous when you're looking at close to all the details. Like, there's a couple pictures of like the restaurant, some of the terraces where you can do firework viewing and stuff like that. It is absolutely a lot of wood. A lot of island kind of colors and textures. Everything is texturized in this place. There's not like one flat wall anywhere. It's absolutely fantastic. It's all over social media, so you can go find it with whatever your favorite place is to pull the news. You've probably already seen it if you're listening to this, but if you haven't, plenty of videos out there doing walkthroughs. Scott Gustin has a bunch of stuff, so I suggest you guys go out to see it. But you asked me what stands out the most is from a distance, it looks like it's all pale or like orange, brownish colors, but when you get close, the details really pop. And like you said, they didn't cheap out on a lot of this stuff, and it looks like a gorgeous resort in my opinion. The rooms look like DVC rooms. They're not like overly like themed and obnoxious, because that's how I view theming. Some people want that. Everybody's taste is different, but they look like fine rooms. It's really like the public spaces that look really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. The public spaces seem to have more kind of color and character to them. The rooms are a little bland, but they have some nice touches, and they have there was one tour, and on the bookshelves they had a book like about like secrets of the Seven Seas Lagoon and stuff like that. So it had like kind of little touches like that. The other thing I liked was I saw a tour of a 1-bedroom unit, which is similar to when we've rented DVC points to stay at like Kidani. We stay at the 1-bedroom there because it has the two bathrooms and can sleep 5 people. Same with the 1-bedrooms here. So they have 2 bathrooms and they can sleep 5 people. But what's nice is the beds, instead of like a fold out couch and stuff like that, it's got a trundle bed and then a Murphy bed. So it's like all 5 people get real beds, which I think is nice. It's nice. So we might still have already outgrown them because the trundle bed, even my youngest, I don't know if she fits and stuff like that. But I don't know. It seems like it could be a really nice accommodation for a family of 5, and there's not a ton of those on property. So
no. I would love to stay here. I just don't know if it's the price point for my family that I want to do it. They've got to be at $500 to $800 a night at least
Yeah.
even if you can get rental points.
Oh yeah,
this
and for a
resort
while
right
you
away,
probably
right?
won't be able to. Yeah.
So even cash rooms, if they begin offering those, I would love to maybe an adult trip at some point, because to me this place is gorgeous, and you would want to spend time at the resort, or at least time like relaxing in the evening on the terrace with an adult
With the
beverage,
view and
just
stuff,
kind of
yeah.
just sitting out there watching the fireworks. And I don't know if I would want to actually go to the parks on days like this, because I'm spending so
know.
much money to be there. It's such a conundrum. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind splashing maybe in a split stay for two dates there, just to kind of get the feel for it. That I think that might be really cool. But for my young family of little kids, I think it's wasted, one, and two, I don't know if I can want to handle packing everything up on a split stay and kind of moving around too. So does it look like it's worth it? Maybe. Actually, I don't know if any of the hotels are actually worth it, right?
Compared to the other options, it might be actually kind of nice.
But in context of like Grand Floridian, Contemporary,
exactly,
Yacht Beach, whatever, I think I think this one is a step above. Certainly, the Riviera, even though it has its own fans, this one just leaps out at me as something that's just highly more valuable than the Riviera, in my opinion. So see how it goes.
A couple quick hits. They announced the Grand Fiesta Tour will be closing for 2 months, a little more, starting on January 6th to reopen on March 15th. Assuming it's just general maintenance and stuff like that, that's not enough time to do a Coco overlay or anything like that.
It's a water ride.
Yeah, exactly. They need regular maintenance. And then the Astro Orbiter is also going to be closing for maintenance starting January 13th, reopening sometime in the summer. I guess it's just probably not the easiest thing to maintain when it's up that high and stuff like that.
No. I want to point out that I don't know if this is true, but it was from a reliable poster on one of the forums, so I half believe it, and I probably can look it up quickly. But they said the last time they did maintenance on it was in 2014, and before that was 2004. So it seems like every 10 years it goes down for like
interesting
extended refurbishment. So hopefully it keeps working.
Maybe they can somehow make the elevator go faster or something.
Or make it bigger. I don't know.
Yeah. And then one other quick note is the World Celebration ground lights appear to have been fixed. They had been not working for quite some time. I don't know.
There's no way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah. I don't know if everything's fully functioning, but it looks a lot better, and it's good timing because we know they added that scene to the end of Soarin', so now it actually matches that.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a cool effect when it's working, and it makes that whole area, obviously at night, seem that much better, and kind of ties in with Spaceship Earth and everything. So it was one of those things where it looked awesome to start with, and then was very noticeable when it's not. So I'm glad they got to fix that.
I don't understand how it could break and then not being able to fix it for almost a year. I mean, there should be an easy way to maintenance that, like flip it open and repair the lights.
You'd think. I don't know if there was some report of maybe it was like a power surge, or like it was something more with the power getting to it than the actual lights, or I don't know. But it still seems like something they should be able to. Shouldn't have taken this.
You would think. But they fixed it.
But they fixed it. That's the important thing. So hopefully they're on it, and it stays that way forever and ever. But that's it. That was kind of the quick hits I wanted to touch on, because there was not a huge news week, but we wanted to mention things.
Yeah, keep it fresh. But on to the predictions. These are our 2025 predictions. I liked the format we had last year, Phil. The previous couple of years, we just kind of wrote up some random questions to ask each other. This year, we kind of have it in sections. This year, we've got it broken down to movies, TV, a big giant park section with a bunch of different categories underneath that. Destination D23, right? I don't think anything else is really. I don't think we're missing
in the past
anything.
We did things like with like corporate stuff, but I think that's kind of. I don't think people care as much about that.
Well, I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
The only other prediction would be is Iger. We'll start off with this. Will we know who is replacing Iger or succeeding Iger, or whatever the word is, by the end of next year?
I don't think so, because they mentioned they thought it would be named in 2026. So I mean, maybe there'll be like rumors, or like this one's kind of in the lead or something, but I don't think it'll be official.
And you say no. I'm gonna say, I mean, yes, I know we weren't supposed to find out to like Q1 2026. I think that's what they said, right? You never know. I think that there's gonna be some. I don't think they'll announce it, but we'll see some shifting in like the board or positions. So we'll have a very, very good guess by Q1 of Disney Q1 of next year, let's say, which is October, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to write maybe by October 1 strong hints.
Okay.
I'm going to write that in there. Okay, so we're going to move on to movies. Phil, you did an awesome job writing this up. Do you want to steer and take notes, or do you want me to take notes and you just steer? How would you like to do it? Your
Why don't we
choice.
start with I'll steer and you take notes.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes. How long my voice holds
Go
out.
ahead.
So yeah, for each movie, we're going to talk about what the box office will be. I know last year we kind of just said, will anything hit $1 billion? But we'll try to guess the box office for each item and sort of what is general fan reaction. Just, do people react favorably or unfavorably?
Okay.
So, and I have them in release order. So the first one is Captain America: Brave New World, which opens on February 14th. So,
all right. So I'll answer first on all these since you're steering. I think the general fan reaction is going to be very mixed on this one.
okay.
I don't think Mackey's Captain America was well received when it came out in Winter Soldier, or what was the name of the show? Why am I forgetting it off the top of my head?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldiers. Thank you. And it has nothing to do with who he is. I just think the show was very poorly written and stuff. It just, his whole scene in in New York City was just kind of weird at the very end.
Mhm.
So I think it's going to get some hype, but I think it's a story that's kind of out of sync for where the general direction is going. I could be completely surprised. So if I had to put a guess, I think I'm going to guess 550 million in mixed reviews. Right? I don't think it's going to be gangbusters. I think it's just going to be slightly better than like a mid 2023 Marvel movie, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I think it'll do slightly better than that. I'll go like 750 million.
Okay.
I don't think it'll do $1 billion or anything like that, but it'll be mostly positive. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but I think especially critics, I think will like it a lot, and overall, it'll be viewed more favorably than negatively.
I just the only thing that worries me is it's been going through so many different reshoots, and typically when that happens, it might kind of you might have some like the opening sequences that have been made for like the last 4 years, and then followed by some reshoots, and maybe Kevin Feige got into the weeds on this one and helped kind of put it together and maybe improved it. Who knows? But I wouldn't say I'm cautiously optimistic or pessimistic. I'm kind of wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little more cautiously optimistic than you.
There you go. Well, you are an optimist, at least for Captain America.
I was going to say not for the next one, which is the live action Snow White.
I just looked at that. I'm like, ooh. I walked you right into that one.
Which opens on March 21st. They all do at least reasonably well. So I'll say it does $300 million and is mostly poorly received.
So you have a known bias against live action movies.
Yeah.
I think this does a little bit better, but not much. And I'm still in the threes, right? I don't know if I'm playing Price is Right with you right now or not, but I'm going to
$1.
$1. I'm going to go about like $3.75. I don't think it'll break 4, but I think it's going to be better than 3. And I think it's just going to be mostly forgettable.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of be like Wish, right? Like everybody saw Wish. No one hated it. No one thought it was good. And people forgot about it a month later. I don't think it's going to be in the theaters very long. We've seen the only thing that's off-putting for this whole thing is the dwarves look really strange in their CGI. So I think that's going to be like a meme for a while until everybody gets tired of it. And the only other comment just for seeing the trailer, it's Gal Gadot as the evil queen is almost like strangely. This is a weird way of putting it. The level and look of the beauty between the two main characters is just a little strange because it's like I don't know how to say this, and I'm not trying to be offensive at all, so maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. But they're both very striking women, but they're striking in different ways. And the woman that's playing Snow White is not like a Snow White. She has like a different complexion, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
And not to get in with like skin tone and skin color, but like there's a specific thing about Snow White. It's very pale skin and dark hair.
I mean, and that's what some people are reacting to. And I think that's not helping some of the initial reactions.
No. And it has nothing to do with it. It's just an odd choice, right? So she did a fantastic job acting and singing and everything. I have no complaints from just like her as an actress or performer. It's just like when you think Snow White, and I don't want this to be allegory to like an African American Little Mermaid, because the Little Mermaid was never defined by skin tone or race or anything else like that. Snow White was always pale skin and dark hair. So I don't know if that's a weird take or not. I'll still watch it when it comes on Disney Plus. I'm certainly not paying money to go to the theater for this one, but yeah, we'll see.
So the next one is Thunderbolts, which is out on May 2nd. And I think this one is going to do really well. I think this has a lot of good hype behind it. People like team up movies. I don't know if it'll get to the billion mark, but I'll put it at 900 million and be over, maybe not like the best movie ever, but like largely
all right,
positive.
Let's say this, because we need to differentiate the scores here, because I also agree. I think it will hit a billion.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to predict a billion. Probably not 1.1, but like 1 billion. I think it'll hit the B mark. Yeah. So just for recent Marvel movies, meaning this year or next year, The crown goes to Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Right.
So if that is at 10, right, as far as crowd reaction, crowd pleasing, whatever, what do you put Thunderbolts at? And you can use decimals.
Yeah, so I then compared to that, I would say Captain America is more like a 6 or a 7, and then Thunderbolts will be closer to an 8.
8, even. I think Thunderbolts has a chance of being close to a 9.
Okay.
On this one, I only say this because it's got a lot of fan favorites as actresses and actors in it, and I think it has a chance to be like just like a, I don't know, it has enough ties back to like pre Endgame and has that flavor to it because of those actors that I think it's going to be slightly nostalgic. I want to say,
gotcha,
maybe 10% nostalgic. Gotcha. What's next?
Lilo and Stitch live action, May 23rd. I think this one will actually do okay, like better than Snow White. I think it's a story that, like, I don't know, it's kind of like a movie that didn't do as well before, but Stitch is really popular, and I think people might
merch is all over the place.
Still. Yeah, so I think people will check this one out and be more open to it. And it's just a good story that, like, the actual story of the movie, I think is maybe a little underappreciated. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to do $1 billion or anything like that, but it'll do better than Snow White. I think it'll do around 500 million, and be like out of 10. I think it'll be like a 7.
Put a 7 out of 10. Should I put the numbers down for everything else? I'm not going to go back. We're not going to go back. Here's the thing. This is a chance. If there's any movie on here that's going to surprise at how well it does, it could be this movie, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, this could be like a solid like $450 to $550 $1 million movie. If it seems to be well made, I think Disney's, but it could be like one of these like Inside Out 2 type of things. Not that it's going to do like 1.6 billion or something else like that, but like I think the ceiling on this, if it's well done, it's a good story and it catches on. I think this could be. I'm going to be on the side of optimistic. I'm going to say it's going to be 750. Oh wow, that's my prediction, and I think it's going to be still well received at a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's going to be drastically more, but I think if this hits that Memorial Day stride into the summer, and they do a lot of like Hawaiian stuff and beach stuff, I think it might coincide. It'd be a nice family movie for the summer. We'll see. I think it has a chance to be sneaky good. And if it's just like another live action movie, I think your prediction's probably spot on. I just think that there's a chance.
I think
that it can elevate. Right?
I see the chance to your side. I guess I'm just not gutsy enough to predict that. But yeah, you go for it
with this high stakes DVC pod predictions here.
Next one is Elio, which is the Pixar release on June 13th, 2025. There's been some previews for that coming out. This is the one I have no idea how it's going to do. Like
it's going to tank.
You think it's going to tank? Because
no one's going to go see this.
Because I think Pixar, after Inside Out 2, I thought it might have some positive vibes going for it. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm worried about it. I think it could be very good, and like kind of critics give it good scores and stuff.
Yeah.
But it could also get lost in the shuffle, and like it's not going to be like an event film. So I'll say like 325 and like a 6 out of 10.
Did you say 325?
Yeah.
and 6 out of 10. I'm actually going to like agree. Like, I don't think this is north of 350. I mean, if this is not great, it could be 250 also.
Yeah.
Just the change. I'll do 275. I'll be
Okay.
pessimistic on this one. 6 out of 10 still. It's probably going to be a good movie that the family can watch, but it feels to me, just not knowing a lot about it other than seeing some of the promo stuff over the last year.
It feels like kind of a wait for Disney Plus movie.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a good pizza night movie with your family. You put something new on Disney Plus and you watch it. Because other things that you have to like consider. So, money for your family movies, right? Like you're spending money to take the whole family out. You've got Thunderbolts May 2nd. You've got Lilo and Stitch 3 weeks later, or 3 weeks later. And then right on top of that, you have Elio, right? 3 weeks later. And then you're going to probably save your money because about a month after that, you've got Fantastic Four, which is our next one. Like, how many movies are you taking to your kids in the summer?
Yeah,
maybe
it does
two
feel
of them.
Very close to the Lilo and Stitch one. Like,
it's just strange. It's just strange to me. I think this might be one where they release, try to recoup some of their costs, and put it on Disney Plus as part of like their catalog. Some of this, like some of the Amazon did with their Santa movie, Big Red or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I think it's a play like that. But the big one is next.
Yeah, the big one is Fantastic Four: First Steps. This comes out July 25th, and yeah, I think this is going to be the biggest one of the summer, probably. Well, definitely of the summer. I'm trying to think of the whole year. But I think it's going to do north of $1 billion. I'm going to go 1.2. I think it'll be. I think there'll be like some classic people that maybe aren't crazy about it. So, but I'll go 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. So I'm going with 1.4 billion. I think this is going to be the highest grossing one because the last one on the list is technically not really going to see anything in this year. I think with Thunderbolts, I ranked it a 9 out of 10, only because I think it's going to be one of those sneaky movies that people can't wait to see, but they don't really know what they're watching. But it gets good reviews because it's fun, it's quirky. You've got like the Thunderbolts. It's like the first team movie in such a long time.
Yeah.
I think people are really going to be into it, and they're going to have fun and enjoy it. But they're going to enjoy it for just what it is, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's not going to be connected to anything else up front. It's just going to be a fun movie. Fantastic Four is going to be like the hype movie, right?
Yeah.
This is going to basically put it on us on the path towards the next Avengers movie. And it's going to be a massive, again, Fantastic Four, incredibly popular comic, some really great actors in it.
Big names,
and it's going to be in another universe. So you don't have to know like all the history of everything else that happened before. And there's probably going to be some teasers with Robert Downey Jr. being in it. It's just going to be a monumental event next year, assuming they can do the right thing and make a good movie.
Well,
so out of this year, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I have faith that they're going to stick the landing on this one, even though there's never really been a good Fantastic Four movie. So we'll see.
The next one is Tron Ares, which comes out October 10th. I don't know. I think this could have some like kind of undercover fans or whatever, like, kind of sleeper type thing, but I'm not really feeling this one. So I'm going to say 300 million.
Can I get, before you say stick to 300 million, Tron Legacy that came out 14 years ago, did 228 million, 400 million worldwide.
Okay. Yeah, I think this will probably do something similar. So I don't know, 350.
You're gonna go 350? Is it gonna be well received?
Like kind of mid, like 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think this will go. Again, this is coming out in October, so there's about August, September. This is going to have 2 months in between Fantastic Four and Tron, so there's going to be, I don't know what else is coming out next year, but like essentially there's going to be some space to breathe around this. It's going to be the fall. Kids go back to school. This might be cool. I don't think it's going to blast over a $500 million. I think you're 350, and just to differentiate yourself, I'm going to go 375. We could be way off with this one, by the way, Phil.
Yeah, this could be one of those ones where I don't know, internationally maybe it's really popular. So I don't know, but I just don't see it being like some huge thing like that. But who knows?
I'm gonna my vibe meter. I'm gonna put 5. I just scored you my score. I'm gonna go 5 out of 10 on this one. I think
I'll go 6. I think some people that are into it, I think might like it more than the last one. But
okay.
Then Zootopia 2 is November 26th. I think this one will do really well too. I think they're going to put the full hype machine around this. they think this is like a franchise type property. I don't know if it'll get the first one did $1 billion, right? So I'll go $1 billion. I'll go $1 billion even.
Let me look it up real quick. Box office for Zootopia, the first one. Worldwide did basically 1.025 billion.
Yeah,
so,
so I think this one will do about the same. So I'll go $1 billion even.
$1 billion. I think it's the same thing too. I think it's, again, in a world where we crave characters that we know and love in the next story, I think people are going to flock to this one. As long as it doesn't get like terrible reviews, I think it easily on $1 billion. I think the general reception is going to be like Moana 2, essentially. It's familiar characters, and that's what's going to carry it. It just doesn't. It's not a musical like Moana 2, so I don't know how many legs it might have.
It does have Shakira.
Like, that's that's true. But I think the reason why this will do better than Moana 2 is it's incredibly popular overseas as well. So I think you'll have a bigger audience for it. So I think the reception generally is going to be like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm probably about the same on that too.
Okay.
And then the last one, I didn't even know whether to include this because we won't really even know how it's doing this time last year. But the next Avatar movie is scheduled to come out called Fire and Ash, December 19th. I'm assuming it'll do $1 billion just because they all seem to do $1 billion. But
it's a track record, right? I mean, we won't even know when we review this next year because it won't come out. We'll make our 2026 prediction in 2024, and you're going to go with an even billion on this?
Yeah. Actually, I'll go like 1.2.
1.2.
They all seem to do well, and this one sounds.
I don't know.
I'm
gonna go 1.5.
All right.
Why not? But we're not going to know anyway, so we're safe, right? We can always change our answer when we do our 2026 predictions. How do you think Avatar is going to do when it comes out in a couple days? All right, so you asked the next question, and I'm going to take the steering wheel just back for this one, so you get to answer first.
Okay.
This year it looks like Moana 2, especially with the holidays coming over the next 2 weeks, where they're going to probably capture a lot more box office dollars. I think Moana 2 is currently at 4th place, just behind Despicable Me, I guess, or Minion. Was it Despicable Me or is it Minions?
Yeah, it's Despicable Me 4. Yeah,
4, right? Yeah. So it's maybe $50 million or $100 million worldwide behind it. So it's real close. And that will put the top 3 movies in 2024, Disney, with Inside Out 2, Moana 2, and Deadpool and Wolverine. First 2 doing billions, and Moana 2 probably going to hit $8 to $9 million when all said and done, if I had to guess. So the question is, next year, will Disney continue to ride this hot streak and be viewed as back, as you wrote it? And just to kind of peek at some of the movies, you've got Disney at a $750 million movie, close to $1 billion in Thunderbolts, $500 million in Lilo and Stitch, Fantastic Four over $1 billion, Zootopia over $1 billion. That would mean that they're performing higher next year than they did this year. So technically that means that they are going to be back because we just predicted all those movies to do good. So I guess this is more of a vibe check. Do you think Disney's going to appear to be like not a failing company anymore, but like they're back at it?
I think overall, yeah. I mean, there's definitely going to be some lulls with Snow White and stuff like that. And if Elia doesn't do well, still kind of questioning the whole like, can they create original properties again? Might still be a question. But sure. I think overall, especially, I think Marvel is going to be viewed much more favorably than it has prior to Deadpool and Wolverine. So specifically, Marvel, I think, will be viewed much more positively.
Yeah, I'm going to just generally agree, so we can go to the next about TV. I think the MCU is going to be viewed as back with Fantastic Four. I think Captain America is going to be mostly forgettable by this time next year because it's coming out in February, and I don't know how much of an impact that has in the overall arc. It might be a fun movie, but who knows where it's going. So I think MCU is going to be generally seen as favorable, whereas in 2023 it was kind of in the dumps.
Yeah.
And Disney animation, I probably is going to be strong with mostly just Zootopia and some live action movies, mostly Lilo and Stitch, because I think it's going to be a surprise success.
Yep.
All right, next one is TV. I'll steer for this one, and then you can handle the ranking, Phil.
Okay.
And go through that. So, you wanted to ask, will Disney Plus continue to be profitable and continue to gain subscribers? And I think this is an easy answer. So what do you think?
Well, and I guess also just magnitude of that and stuff like that. I will say yes, but it's still not going to be like crazy profitable, just marginally profitable and slow, steady growth of subscribers. But it's not going to like zoom ahead. So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
kind of what you put, slow and steady. I think so.
yeah, slow and steady. I think is right. I think we're way beyond a streaming service that's like going to explode in subscribers at this point. I mean, the market is saturated. Everybody has a couple streamers that they're on. People float back and forth. I don't think there's a major growth aspect in this space. I think they're just going to continue to be profitable, continue to build their platform for deploying their property in everybody's living rooms, essentially.
Yep.
The next question was interesting. I had to think about this one for a while for even a bold prediction for this. You asked, will Disney acquire or merge with any other streaming services? What do you think?
And to just to clarify, I know sometimes they have some stuff in like India or things like that have some things that are merging and stuff. I meant like globally on a large scale as anything, like something like Paramount Plus or Peacock or something like that. I don't think so. I think there'll be some merging, but I think Disney Plus will be one of the big ones that's left. But other than maybe some tiny things it adds, I don't think it'll merge.
I think the only chance that Disney has of acquiring a property or a streaming service is probably the Warner Brothers property. They have their own little streaming service that's failing miserably. If there's going to be a merger, or not a merger, but an acquirement, so that's a word, acquire. They're going to acquire that property. I don't think they'll ever get Peacock because that's NBC.
NBC, yeah.
Max is doing well on its own. They're not coming over. Amazon's not selling Prime. Yeah. Apple's not doing anything. So I don't really see anything in this space. So I'm just going to say no. But maybe Warner Brothers in a super long shot. That would be the only thing, in my opinion. You said no. All right, so you had a ranking of shows here. I like this one. So what you?
Yeah, so rather than because it's hard to know the exact numbers and things like that for streaming stuff, I just said all the new shows that are coming out, the big ones, like just rank them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them. So which do we think at the end of the year fans will be like, that was the best one, second best, all the way down to like that was the worst one of the series?
This is a general public ranking, correct?
Exactly. Okay. So there's Daredevil Born Again, which comes out on March 4th. Andor Season 2, which comes out on April 22nd. Ironheart, which comes out on June 24th. Eyes of Wakanda, which comes out on August 6th.
Is that animated?
That's animated, yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel Zombies, which is also animated, that's October 3rd. And then Wonder Man, which comes out December. They didn't have an exact date, but December of 2025.
That definitely is not coming out in December. I think we're going to find out that's
going to get pushed back. Yeah.
If I had to guess. All right, so I guess the best way to do this is, which one do you think is number one?
I think it's Andor Season 2.
I think that's the easy way of doing it. Andor Season 1 was slightly unpopular, just gained popularity the older it got, until like all Star Wars fans is like, why can't everything be like Andor Season 1? The real question is, what is number 2? And in my opinion, it's Daredevil. What is yours?
I think it's Ironheart. I think Daredevil might be like the best one in critics' eyes, but I think it'll be because I think it's rated M or something like that. So I don't know if like families will watch it as much.
Okay.
So I'll go Ironheart, and then Daredevil third.
So I'm gonna swap them.
Okay.
On that one. I think they're going to be close, right? I don't think there's going to be a big, gulf between the two. But I think Daredevil is known. It's a known actor. It's a known show. So I think it's going to be more interesting to the general public, and it's kind of more familiar. Ironheart is different, right? So here's where Ironheart can be great. Great graphics, great story, or great special effects. It's got another Iron Man suit. People are going to be hyped for it. But it's also a female lead that's young that might not mesh well with people's expectations, right? They're looking for, like, if another Spider-Man becoming the Iron Man, like, Tom Holland becoming the Iron Man person type of thing with a new suit. So I think when you have younger, she's not exactly a kid in this, right? She's a high schooler or no, early college. I think
she's in college. Yeah,
college, right? So like you got the kid aspect of it. And you just don't know what the stakes are for this character. Like just the general public, she's got an Iron Man suit and she does things and it's, whatever. Whereas Daredevil, you know who Daredevil is, or the people are going to, Kingpin and all this other stuff. It's a known entity. That's why I think they were going to be reversed. I think they're going to be close because Ironheart seems like a very exciting show. I can't wait to watch it myself because the woman that plays it seems really cool in like kind of her story and her acting in that character. So I'm looking forward to it as well. How do you want to, what is your number 4? Well, how about we do this? What is your number 5? Let's go. Or no, number 6. Excuse me. Let's go to your last one, and then we'll fill in the next 2.
Yeah,
let's skip to 4 and 5.
3, I think could go in any way.
Yeah.
Because Wonder Man, it could be really good, but I also think it could be one where almost a little like She-Hulk, where people like kind of got the like offbeat jokes to it, and then other people like, but it doesn't really catch on with the broad public. So I guess I'll put that 6th.
Okay.
I think I was going to go. My order is going to be Marvel Zombies, then Wakanda, then Wonder Man.
Okay, so you said Zombies was 4.
Yeah, but I think that and Wakanda could kind of go either way. I'm pretty close on those 2.
I'm, if I had to go, I would, if I wanted to be an outlier, I would say Wonder Man might be 4 because generally the animated series doesn't get a lot of eyeballs on it. It's mostly for more harder core Marvel fans or what have you. But I think they're still going to be good. I just don't think they're going to get as a massive reception as the live action stuff is.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it's just random 5 and 6 eyes and 6 Marvel. But I think they're going to be basically 5A, 5B at this point because Marvel Zombies, people love that when it was the What If stuff. So I think it's going to be popular. I just don't think it's going to hit mass. I don't think it's going to be in the larger zeitgeist overall cultural segment. All right, so our next section is going to be on parks, and I'm going to apologize to everybody because my nose is getting more and more stuffed from allergies as the show goes on, so I'm getting more and more nasally. So for those that are listening, I apologize. But the next part is attendance and discounts. And Phil, the first part you wanted to talk about park attendance predictions. So why don't you take it away?
So where do we think things will be next year? Do we think they'll grow? And then later on, we're going to get into like which parks will get impacted by Epic Universe opening the most. But first, we'll go with the existing parks so that we know we have their numbers for 2023. So we will see what their growth or not was for 2024. So Magic Kingdom in 2023 had 17.72 million people. Do you think when the report comes out next year for 2024, it will have grown or shrunk from there?
I mean, I think it's going to grow. I think that's an easy prediction. I think here's the reason why. Epic Universe opens next year. People might be saving their vacations or whatever, but people are still going to go to Disney World, right? That's the other park's not going to happen.
Well, this is the number for 2024. So the year we've.
Oh my goodness, gosh, we're predicting next year.
Yeah, so this is what numbers are going to come out in the TEA report. So
yes, you're right. I'm thinking like a year and a half in advance.
Yeah.
So what was this year compared to last year? I think it grew, but not by much.
Yeah.
So if I had to say anything, I'm trying to pull up the numbers that I had, and I'm failing to do this quickly, and I should have prepared. But I think you're going to hit like maybe like 18.2. I think you're going to see better like half a million people improve there. So maybe like 18.2, 18.5 million, somewhere in that area. I think is the best way to go. What about you?
I'm thinking similar, but maybe not even that much. I think it'll be just up a tick. So I'll go like 17.9, 5, something like that.
Okay. Just to kind of show off here. So in the parks, Magic Kingdom peaked in 2019 at 20.9 million people. And the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, we saw 17.1 and then 17.7. So you saw about like a 500 or 600 million person increase. And that's kind of, I'm thinking that's just going to steadily grow.
Keep going. Yeah.
For this year. And I think we're going to see, this prediction show next year, I think we're going to see a bigger growth because of Epic Universe. But that being said, let's go to the next one. Epcot.
Next one is Epcot, which had 11.98 million people in 2023. I think in 2024, this one will see a little bit more of growth just because it finished and people wanted to check it out, and it had the new fireworks show and stuff like that. So I think of the Disney parks, this will see the most increase. Not that it's jumping by 5 million people or anything like that, but I think it'll get to around 13 million.
So you're going to see here's the interesting thing. So Epcot saw the highest growth percentage over anything last year, right?
Yeah.
It went from basically 10 million to nearly 12 million from 2022 to 2023.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of had that to do with Guardians.
Yep.
Had Remy, people wanted to see Remy as it was coming out during after the pandemic. There isn't much new in this park to even drive a higher increase of people. So I think it's going to grow modestly because typically, if you looked at here's the reason why I'm predicting this. So 2017 Pandora opened, and basically you saw 2 years of growth because of that, but then it kind of flattened off. So I think Epcot's at its flat point. It's actually right back at where's my number here? Nearly close to its 2019 peak. 2019 peak was 12.5 million, and you're you're basically a 500,000 off of that at that point. So your guess is over the 2019 peak. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think it'll flatten out maybe like 12.1, 12.2.
Okay,
that would be my guess.
Then Hollywood Studios was at an even 10 million. I think this one, I could see it actually tick down a little bit just because I don't know what would motivate people to go to it other than it's just part of their Disney vacation. So I'm going to go, not much though. I'll go 9.9.
Just a little bit of history again. So 2018 and on, it was at 11.2, 11.4. Then the pandemic hit, and in 2022, it was at 10.9. So it almost fully recovered. At that point, it was about 500,000 or so, or 600,000 off of its peak numbers. And this year, it actually ticked downwards. Or in 2023, it ticked down to 10.3 million versus the 10.9 the last 2 years. And I think that trend is going to continue. And I'm kind of agreeing with you. Like, I think your 9.9 is going to be like right on the mark. So I'm going to actually go with you because I bet about a $400 million, my goodness, 400,000 person decrease, which is the trend line for this. Because again, there's nothing new in this park. The park is just more constrained. I don't think the villain show is going to draw really any people to go there. Now, this depends if the new Muppets overlay is going to happen. I don't think we're going to talk about this later, but I don't think that's going to happen next year, and I don't think that would draw people anyway for Rock and Roller Coaster. So 9.9 is a very good guess in my opinion.
Animal Kingdom was 8.77 in 2023, and then this past year for 2024, I think it might also tick down a little bit. Again, the Pandora effect is probably worn off a little bit. Maybe a little uptick. People want to ride Dinosaur one last time. I don't know.
No.
But I think it'll probably tick down. It'll probably be fairly flat. I'll just go like 8.7, like just slightly down.
Yeah, so the numbers leading up from Pandora to 2019 at its peak went from 12.5, 13.7, and then 13.8. And then coming out of the pandemic, 22, it was 9 million. And then 2023, it actually ticked down to 8.7. And I think that trajectory is going to continue even more significantly. I have dire thinking about Animal Kingdom. I think it's going to be like 8.1.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be even lower on this one.
And I do have the Universal Parks if we want to look at that too, just to see how they compare. Islands of Adventure had 10 million people, and Universal Studios had 9.75 million. So pretty close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you think they've gone. Like kind of the year before Epic opens, do you think people are trying to get one last trip in before it gets crazy, or were they kind of skipping it, waiting for Epic?
We do know that the parks are down this year from their quarterly reports. I'm probably at 10, if it's 10 million now, I think it's going to be at like 9.1, and then Universal Studios, just to double these up, I think that's going to be at like 8.9.
Yeah, I think it's similar trend, maybe not quite as steep. So I'll go like 9.5 and 9.1, something like that. But
you have our names reversed on that one, by the way.
I do, but I will fix that. Okay.
All right. So the question I was answering for this at the beginning is, how is 2025 going to feel attendance-wise? We both have trips planned. I've got a big family vacation with my mother, kind of like in 2019. So we got some like old school pre-COVID vibes going on. You have a vacation I try to invite myself on in August, or in August for
end of August,
Destination D23. So in my opinion, how is 2025 going to feel? I think it's going to be, I think attendance is going to be higher at Magic Kingdom because I think Epic Universe is going to bring people into Orlando that weren't going on a Disney trip, and they're going to splash Magic Kingdom because that's what everybody does, right? I think Hollywood Studios is going to be boosted because of this because people are going to go Harry Potter, Epic, Star Wars, right? So you have the non-Disney families that are like, I want to see Star Wars. So I think you'll see a boost in Hollywood studio numbers as well. Maybe enough to stay even with 2024 numbers. But I think Animal Kingdom is going to tank, and I think Epcot is probably going to just be Epcot because that's always going to be. Epcot's always been the steady Eddie of all the parks, just because the restaurants, the food booths, and everything else like that. But ultimately, it's going to feel like a park in transition because there's just going to be construction all over the place. So it's going to be interesting that way too.
Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty similar. I think it'll feel very similar to this year. Like you said, I think we could see higher in Magic Kingdom if people that are coming for Epic are like, let's check out this Disney thing while we're here. I kind of think the other parks will be lower. I think all of them. I get what you're saying about people wanting to check out Star Wars and stuff, and that might be true. And you do steer a little older probably for Epic Universe and stuff, so they'll want to go where there's more thrill rides and stuff. But I'll go pretty similar to 2024, maybe slightly higher in MK. So not pretty similar to you, but
yeah, I mean, just to be fair, when I say higher in MK, like it's going to be noticeable in Magic Kingdom compared to this year. We're going to have higher. I think you're going to have higher amounts of 7 and 8 park numbers or crowd calendar numbers, whereas Hollywood Studios might be a little bit busier or be flat up because otherwise it would have been down. I think.
Gotcha.
So I think it's basically the same. Everything else is going to be, whatever.
Yeah, and MK does have the new nighttime show coming, so I could see people wanting to check that out and like hopping to that park and stuff.
See,
like
I think Disney fans are going to want to check that out. I don't think that's drawing,
No, not drawing
the
new people,
normies.
but I could see that becoming like the Disney people making Magic Kingdom, maybe like doing more Magic Kingdom days.
Oh, true. Yep.
That sort of thing.
I got you on that one. Yep. I agree.
And then we kind of talked about it a little bit, but which parks do we think Epic Universe will impact the most? Personally, I think it's going to be the other Universal parks. I think impact Island of Adventure and Universal Studios the most. But then I think it also people that are going down for the splits day are like they're still going to do Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. The Disney fans will still do Epcot and stuff, but they'll probably cut out Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios or something.
Okay, here's a better question. Right, we're going to edit this on the fly. Which park is impacted the most out of Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, or Animal Kingdom?
I think it's going to be Universal Studios is impacted the most.
I agree with you on that one. I'll make a note here. Where's my mouse? Universal Studios Orlando impacted the most percentage-wise compared to IOA and AK.
Yep. And then those are the three impacted the most, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. We had this prediction last year. What discounts will we see? Is anything ticket related? Anything with the Lightning Lane, multi-pass? Or is it just standard room and dining options that we typically have seen for the last 20 years? I used to be more optimistic about this, but we've heard that from, I think it was, I don't know the gentleman's name, it was Disney's new CFO.
Yep.
He mentioned that bookings were strong for next year versus what they were expecting. So that means I don't think we're getting any fancy discounts. I mean, if you want to count like the 4 parks,
I think they'll do that again.
Thing,
yeah, I think they'll do. It'll be more of the same. I don't think it's going to be anything.
Yeah,
huge.
I mean, I don't think we'll get any because they've always done some tickets like that at different parts of the year. Like, I don't think that's changing, but I don't think we'll see anything out of the ordinary. So I'm going to put nothing different. Yeah, unfortunately, I would like them to be. More
it would be
clever.
interesting though if they did throw out something with like some sort of special on a single day ticket or a 2-day ticket, trying to draw those people that are coming for Epic Universe to like add on a day. I don't think they will, but I think that could be an interesting angle they could take.
So like they got to figure out once Epic opens, like I wonder how far in advance, you probably know this, that they have to announce a discount for it to have an impact on bookings, right? Because there's always going to be a lag or delay, right? So do you think, and you know, you had a good point, is, you know, if somebody's going to Epic Universe for, let's say, a week, because everybody goes on vacation for 6 nights, 7 days, right? For the most part, that's the average vacation duration. They might only want to go to each park once. Maybe it's tough to get into Epic. Maybe there's something going around. You can only do Epic one day. It's hard to get 2 tickets for it, that type of thing. And then maybe there's no interest in the other parks. So maybe Disney says, well, if somebody's going over there for a couple days, what would be the average or good length of time to entice people to come to Disney as a splash of Disney? Is that 2 nights? So will we see like a 2 nights, 3 days, 2 park ticket like package? Like you can't go 3 days, you can't go this, you can't do that. It's basically 2 parks, and it's Magic Kingdom and 1 other park or something else like that.
Right.
Maybe they pick the 2 parks. I don't know, but that might be a way to kind of help. Because they'll probably see a lot. They have a lot of connections with obviously all the different travel agencies, and they'll probably hear from them. There's a lot of Universal, that type of thing. So they'll have that information because people are booking for next summer already. So that'd be interesting to see if they do something like that. I don't expect it, but I think that's where you might see something different. Yep. All right. So additions to the park. You wrote this one. So here are all the different new things that are coming. And we're just going to do when will they open. Do we do this in a matte fashion and do before and after, or do we just want to pick a month? Do we want to do months or seasons, Phil? How are you feeling?
I think we need to pick like at least a month, if not a day. And then,
okay.
Yeah,
so which one do you want to start with?
Yeah, so when do you think they will start Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, which is the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom?
So they said this was coming next summer, right?
Yeah, a lot of these they said summer, but they haven't given more details than that.
So I think that Starlight is going to kick off the summer, kind of like how Guardians of the Galaxy did a couple years ago. So I'll put Memorial Day weekend on this one.
Okay.
Or like, it could be like not Memorial Day weekend, but it could start like the first week of June, right? So
yeah,
I'll just put first week of June. What about you?
Okay. I think it might be a little earlier. I was going to say like mid-May, like before Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, get it cranking first, building up that excitement. Fair enough. The next one you have here is Pirates Tavern.
Yep.
It's still being constructed. We haven't seen the inside of this, but it could easily be done by next summer. It's really just a lounge. Do you have any thoughts? Any guesses?
I think this one's going to take a little longer than they initially thought, just because I think there's more to it and things to test and stuff. So I think it's going to be more like August 1st.
Oh, you put August 1st on this one. I was thinking actually later, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I think this is going to be like a soft open right after Labor Day.
Okay.
So I'm going to have after Labor Day, because I think they're going to get through the summer, and they're not going to want all those people packed in there as they're starting to serve booze and in the heat and everything else like that. So I think it might be a little bit later in the year, going into the fall. That'll be like they have all the stuff that we're going to be seeing opening up in the summer. I think they're going to want something they can tease for the fall, maybe, and I think this might be something that they can kind of sprinkle on, that sort of thing. Because the next one is Test Track, which the current messaging is late summer.
Yeah. So this one I'm somewhat being optimistic and think this might be the thing they try to get open for people coming down for Destination D23. So I'm going to say for Destination D23, so that's like August 26th or something like that.
Late August. I'm gonna put late August for you. I don't think it'll open late August. I think it'll open post Labor Day. But I think the soft opening previews, you have a ticket to D23, you get to do a preview, that sort of thing. So soft open. I'll agree with you. Soft opening for D23, open to public in September.
Okay.
All right. The next one, your favorite, Spaceship Earth Lounge.
This one I think is going to be fairly simple. I think this will be open before the summer, so I'm also going to say mid-May for this one.
Have they even started working on this? Is this something
it's been
working on?
Yeah, well, it's in a former corporate lounge spot, so they could be working on it, and we don't really know. But
yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. But who knows? They could have not started at all, and it's going to be late. But I don't know. For some reason, I think that's one of the things they'll get done quicker.
So I'm just curious: are they just opening this up and just kind of zhuzhing it up a little bit, or are they going to make it a little bit more nicer because it's been closed for a while, or it's been closed to the public forever, type of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I could if it's not doing much, I could see this opening in earlier than that, in leading into the spring. just gonna put like spring. I don't really have a strong feeling about this because I don't think this is like something they're hyping up or expecting to be like crazy, but we'll see. I don't know.
The next one is the Zootopia Better Together. That's replacing it's Bugs Life, in the Tree of Life. They said winter 2025, so I think that's like December 15th or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
1 year from today.
Yeah,
We're recording this on December 16th.
16th. So
Yeah, all right. I 1 year from today. I agree. This is the Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After, replacing the Cars show, the Racing Academy, and Hollywood Studios. It's also a summer 2025 thing. I think it's going to open up basically the same time like Disney Starlight is, or around that time. So you say mid-May, I say the first week of June. I think I could copy paste our answers from that one to this one.
yeah, I think it might be a little later. I think it could just take a little while to get going. So I'll say mid-June for that one.
I'm going to say early June. You're going to say mid-June, and then we're going to fight. But what's the difference between mid
and early? I know it'll open
the
in the
9th
10th.
is kind of early still.
Yeah, it opens the 10th, and we debate who wins that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Little Mermaid musical adventure is also summer. No, was it still the summer of next year? Did they push this back? Or no, it was supposed to be open this fall, and it got pushed back to summer of 2025. What are you thinking on this one too? Are they going to try opening this at the same time as Disney Villains? This is going to be like, here's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can see, and try to pull people there.
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea where this one's at. I mean, you'd think it could get going sooner, but then maybe there's even more issues with the theater. This is the one that I have no idea when this could open.
I mean, they're still doing casting for this.
Yeah. I'll say mid-June for this one as well, but I guess I'll say the same time. But
I'm just gonna put early June to be consistent, and we can have just one fight rather than multiple small fights next year as we're reviewing this, defining what part of June it really is. But those are the new things coming next year. Some miscellaneous topics. I kind of threw some of these things in together.
Yep.
So did you. So this is kind of a catch-all. It says, will we find out what will happen to Muppet Vision 3D and what will it be? Meaning, we know it's closing. There's been hints that like we're going to preserve it somewhere. Is it going to be D23? Is it going to be in a new building? Is it going to be something? Right?
Yeah.
Will we find out, first of all, Phil, yes or no, next year?
I don't think we're going to find out the final spot. They might say it's as one part of it, it's going to go to Disney Plus, but I don't think we're going to find out like where it's going to be.
No, if it took it this long just to tell us that where Monsters is going, we're certainly not going to find out where Muppet Vision 3D is, especially when closing might be imminent over there. At that point, I think they're just going to leave that one dangling for hope as things get closed down, to be honest with you. Any adjustments to Lightning Lane? Will Premier Pass become a larger component? What are your thoughts, Phil?
I think just minor tweaks, and they'll just kind of keep working on the math of things and stuff, but I don't think nothing.
When you say minor tweaks, is that like behind the scenes stuff?
Some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, maybe they'll change. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example of what would be a minor tweak, because I know like in the past they added like the modify feature or something, something equivalent to that, but no like major change.
You're saying no changes. Premier Pass becoming a larger component. I think we'll never know if it's small or big. Right. So there's no way to judge that. I'm going to say I'm going to change my. I put no and no. I think if there's going to be any change, I think there will be a limit. There'll be an additional fee for park hopping attached to it. Because right now you can go to Animal Kingdom and then start booking for another park as long as you have a valid ticket, and they don't charge you extra. So if you wanted to, you get one cheap. You go to Animal Kingdom first.
Yeah, you just then can't pre-book at the other park.
And you go everywhere. You just gotta use it there first, and then you can go somewhere else, right? With a valid ticket, of course. So I think maybe hopping charges, but
that'd be interesting though if they had a hopping charge in that, then you can pre-book at multiple parks.
Ooh, that might be something. We'll see. So if they do start charging you for hopping, they're definitely going to allow you to book in multiple parks then at that point. I think, right? I think that's the only way they could do that. So that's a good point. I'm going to say book at multiple parks. Give you credit for that next year. And we'll steal that. My question to you, Phil, simple yes or no, will Guardians of the Galaxy go off of VQ next year?
No.
I also don't think it will. I think
they like it.
I like how there's no. I think they don't like how there's no line coming out of the building, and they want to keep it that way. And that thing works like clockwork, and it's always full. It's almost when you're in the virtual queue, it's almost guaranteed a 30 to 45-minute wait every single time, unless you go on some outlier times and stuff like that. I think they'd like that consistency.
I think they like it. It gets people to buy because if they want to ride more than once, they buy the Lightning Lane single pass. It adds value to the deluxe after hours. It's kind of the only value of having that there. So I think they like how it is.
Yeah, I agree. How about Tiana's Bayou Adventure? Same question.
I think that will go off. We already saw it go off at Disneyland. I don't know when though. I think it could be like sometime in the I don't actually now with Big Thunder down, maybe they want to keep it the virtual queue. I think it'll go off. I'll say by March 15th.
Oh, that's kind of. I was going to say before spring break, March 15th. I think it's before spring break rush, right? I think that's something that they'll kind of pitch for all the people coming for spring break. Now this is kind of more ambiguous. It's kind of open ended. Is there any surprise entertainment not announced in the parks that we'll get?
I don't think anything big. We could see some character meets, like if Lilo and Stitch does pretty well.
That doesn't
count.
Like
things like that. Yeah, like any parade or new fireworks or anything like that. No, I don't think so.
I don't think we'll get parades. I don't think we'll get fireworks. The only thing is, remember when they introduced cavalcades as like a new thing during COVID type of thing? I think there's a chance we get something like that at Hollywood Studios, in my opinion. Sometimes they do like the drummers going through and, the Toy Story characters on cars, that type of thing. But I think there could be some kind of entertainment. I'm going to put here, you say no.
I'm going to say no, nothing major, no.
I'm going to put like maybe minor parade, cavalcade in like Hollywood Studios or something else. Nothing like the big production, but I think they might start promoting like just more characters in the parks, but more than just like what they do where they have like a meet and greet standing over here. I think they might start, parading. Like when they had the March of the First Order coming through Hollywood Studios, that was always so awesome for that park. And I think stuff like that might be something that you might start seeing in that park, which is hard to do, but not expensive. It's still expensive, not as expensive as a parade, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is construction. Phil, I color-coded these in the show notes to make you blind because it is hard to read now that I'm looking at it. But I just want to talk about construction and some kind of like predictions so we're on the record for like when things are happening. So we know Dino Land is closing in the next, month, 40 days or so? I forget if there's an exact date.
It closes on January 13th.
13th. So will we see walls on January 13th?
Yeah, either the 13th or the 14th, whatever it is. Yep.
Walls in January. I agree. That's when they start going up. I realize as we're typing this up, we already knew when the walls were going up. I don't know why I'm asking this. But when will demo start? When will you not be able to, like, if you hold up a camera over the walls, like Triceratops Spin is going to be gone. Like all the decorations are going to be gone. So
when's things like demo complete? You mean, or when do they start?
No. When it starts, when those rides are no longer in the park. Is it like within the week in January? Is it take some time? Are they doing like groundwork behind it type of thing? Like I don't know what stage of construction they're going to start with. When will we see basically the whole carnival be gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll start pretty much right away. I don't think it'll be site prep, so I think the rides and stuff will be gone within a month or whatever.
So here's another question. So the Boneyard is basically, it's just going to be a walkway to Dinosaur, right? Is that what we're expecting? So everything else to the left.
I think the Boneyard will still be open, I thought.
Is it? Because that was going to be my question. Is Boneyard part of that?
I forget what.
Because it does go far back over there. I don't know if that becomes like unsafe if they're doing construction nearby. Yeah, what are your guesses? I think it's all going away.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I think it all is, yeah.
All right. Eventually. Next question is, when will we start seeing evidence, whether it's sight lines from us walking or bio-reconstruct, seeing it from over top, the Encanto show building start going up? Will we see that in 2025?
We'll definitely see it start. I don't know if it'll be complete, like fully enclosed, but it'll go vertical by July.
by July. Again, they want to open this in 2027. We don't know when in 2027 they have this goal. I think it's going to be like a year and a half inside that building putting the ride together. So in order to meet their goals of, let's say, summer of 2027, that means that building has to be done by end of next year, I would say. So they have all of 2026 and half of 2027 to do ride vehicle testing and all this other type of stuff, right? So I think you going vertical by July, I think it goes vert by March, right?
Okay.
Meaning there's foundation going in the ground. Not that you'd be able to see anything, but you'll see definite construction for that building. And I think it would be the shell of the building. The walls will be up. We'd have no idea what's going inside.
Sure.
Walls up and complete by end of year.
Yeah, I think it'll be not quite complete. So you're a little bit faster than me. But I mean, I think we're pretty similar.
Yeah, I think so too. Will Rivers of America be closed in 2025?
I think so. I'm
going to say yes, but later in the year.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Fall. I'm going to say fall. Will we see walls go up next year? Basically, there's going to be walls up around Big Thunder, cutting you off from there. When do those walls stretch all the way over to Haunted Mansion? Will we see walls? Let's ask this. Will we see walls?
I think
so.
Year? I think they got to get started on that if they want cars. And I just think that's such a huge project. So
when are walls going up? When was the last time you're going to be able to look over the Rivers of America in Frontierland?
I think by September there'll be walls up.
I'm kind of leaning on you. They're going to get one last summer out of it, right? Now, this is not my prediction, but like talking around it, what do you think the walls are going to look like, right? So obviously it's going to be walled off for Big Thunder. That's not a big deal. That's only a small little choke point, right? The walls are going to follow the shoreline all the way over, but then you get to the riverboat dock, right, which is a nice building and stuff like that. Do you think that's like the walls end there, and then there's basically like some kind of like, I don't know, canvas cloth like scrim that goes around the back end of it, and then walls continue along the side of like Haunted Mansion? Do you think they're going to board up all views of the water all the way around?
I think so. I don't know how else they do it.
I know, that's why I'm asking, because I'm like, I guess they have to do that. Because
I mean, at least in that concept art, if that's to be believed, the ferryboat dock or building is there, right? So it could be that scrim in front of it, but I think they're just going to put walls up on the whole thing, and
so they're not. They're going to leave. They're basically going to block off everything. You're not even going to be able to see the dock, the building.
I don't think so. No.
So all the way wrap around. I think that they might put walls to the building, and then you'll be able to see like the queue area inside the building, but then there'd be scrims going up around it, so you can't see through it. I think. Right?
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Just because it might be more aesthetically pleasing to see the building sticking out there rather than just all those walls, but you're probably more right. So I'm not going to write this down, but that's how I'm envisioning it.
It's an interesting question, and it's just like I just don't know how else they do it.
But how tall do those walls have to be though? Because like you could see everything like in Splash Mountain or the railroad. Like,
I'm assuming you'll be able to see it when you're doing the drop on Splash Mountain.
Right.
You can't have like 40-foot walls.
Can you see the rivers from the top of Swiss Family Treehouse?
I'm trying to think. I know you can see over to Tron and Magic.
And you can see into the on top of the roofs of Adventureland. I don't know how far.
Sure
I can't remember.
I've never looked at.
It's been years.
Yeah.
And then not only that, when you're on the railroad, like how many times is like Drew the Disney dude going to be on that train taking pictures like through the trees into the rivers? Because there's some good views. Like once you come out of Frontierland, there's plenty of times where like the boat and the train are kind of going together and they kind of, steam whistle themselves back and forth, right? Like you have clear view into the water back there. Or like those sections where you go past like the Indian camps and stuff like that, like is that all going to be walled off right there where you can't see through? Because they're going to demolish all those little characters and stuff. Like, they're going to remove them, I guess. Not maybe demo, but like, it's going to be really interesting how far around do they protect it. Maybe to be like fencing with like the green canvas that you can't see through the walls type of thing that blends in with the trees.
It would be interesting. I don't think they'd do this, but if they actually let you see the construction, if you rode the train, like that would be like some like special bonus you get for riding the train. Like,
maybe. Here's how what I would say. I think they do hard walls that lead from Big Thunder all the way over to Haunted Mansion. They're not going to allow somebody sitting in the queue for Haunted Mansion watching a construction zone as they start digging up the river. So I think that's going to be going. And I think they're going to have cloth canvas, like kind of fencing, kind of how we had it like when you first started seeing some like the cranes go up behind Big Thunder. They had these big kind of like impromptu scrims. I think it's going to look nicer, but you're not going to be able to see the river from the train either. But we'll see. Will Tom Sawyer's Island close before the riverboat? So we're saying the riverboat is closing in the fall. Is Tom Sawyer Island having a goodbye date earlier than that? Or is it all just going to get
I think it's just all that. I think they just close it all at once.
So you're saying no. I'll say no too. I mean, there's really no point in closing it, honestly, if everything is running. Our last bit for Hollywood Studios is when will Monsters Land start construction / walls going up? That means any sort of construction whatsoever. When does the first shovel hit the ground?
So they can definitely be working on the new show building backstage without interrupting Muppet Vision and stuff. So I think that'll start. I don't know. Definitely next year it'll start.
Right.
I'm just trying to think about when it'll start. I mean, they haven't really done permits or anything yet, so that probably won't be until the fall. So I'll say like October.
I mean, I think they start doing site prep by end of the summer, but actually construction and walls go up. I agree. It's going to be the fall of next year. They're going to push that back quite a bit. Does the show building start before Muppets closes? Essentially, at the end of it, they're going to start doing the gravity building for the coaster.
Yeah.
Muppets is still going to exist. It's still going to be going. And then that's the last step before that. I think that's how they're going to progress things.
Yeah, I think Muppet Vision will be open, all of next year and stuff like that.
Okay. I agree. Will the whole area be walled off before the end of next year? Meaning, as you're going towards Galaxy's Edge, you can't even go down.
No, I think Muppets will be open all next year, so I don't think that'll be walled off until
so walls in 2026.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to put no walls in 2026. Okay.
Yep.
All right, last 5 questions. Phil, since this is a question that we already know the answers, will you be attending? You are attending.
It's the plan.
It's still in the air, even though I don't have a hotel now for it because that got sold out. It's in the air. Again, this is gonna be a hard sell because I'll be there like a month or 5 weeks before this starts. So it's gonna be hard sell to like, hey babe, I'm going back to Florida on a plane, kind of by myself on that one. So I'd like to. We'll see how things going. At D23, will the main parks be the signature topic? Is that what we're going to be talking about? All the different advances.
Kind of just thinking like, what will there be the model of, and so like kind of like for this past one, you could kind of say it was Tropical Americas was sort of like the big thing. Like, what'll be the big thing for this one? And
yeah, I think the parks will be. I think it'll just be kind of like a continuation of the topics from D23 this year. So I don't think there's going to be any surprises. I think the main topic is going to be Test Track.
Okay.
As we kind of alluded to before, do you think there's going to be a focus, or is it just
thinking like I think there'll be a lot more details for Monsters Inc. Land. I think that might be where there's like a full model of it and stuff like that.
Okay, more details for Monsters. I like it. Will we get more details for Villains Land? Basically, let's put a delineation this way: will we get more than concept art? Actually, no, hold on. I think we definitely get concept art. Will we get? First question is, will we get different concept art? Yes or no?
Different concept art, but only concept art.
Nothing else after that.
I don't think there'll be a lot of details because it'll still be more focus on monsters and Cars Land and stuff like that. But they'll little bit to tease us that they're still working on it and that sort of thing. But
yeah, 100%. Any new hotel announcements? I think personally, I think we're just going to get the Lakeside Lounge.
I think a little more detail on the Lakeside stuff. I threw that in there because there was the report and they did the site prep for changing the road, and now that's leaving a speculation there's going to be a new Magic Kingdom area.
Oh, they're nowhere near ready. If that's a whole new hotel, that's like
But that's
D23 in 2028.
Yeah.
I think two D23s from now they're gonna might announce that, because I don't think they'll ever announce a hotel there until Villains and Cars is completely done. If there is one going to go there, so we will find that out. Any surprise announcement predictions for Destination D23 next year? I mean, we've been putting New Skyliner in this segment for like 3 years in a row.
Well, maybe if we don't put it this time, that's what
Yes.
it'll actually happen.
Yes.
I think I'll go off on a limb and say that they're going to redo Journey into Imagination.
Oh, Imagination. How do we? What's the whatchamacallit, the acronym for that?
JITI.
That doesn't seem right.
Journey into Imagine, or JI. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm just gonna put that in Figment News.
Yeah, Figment.
I think I had a good answer for this, and I totally lost it in my brain as I was thinking about this today. We're not going to get anything surprising about Magic Kingdom. We're not going to get any surprises about Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. And honestly, I don't think we'll get any park news, right? I think nothing for the parks. But I think we'll get a surprise announcement when it comes to Disney World property. I don't know what that means. It could be as simple as we're getting new buses. It could be as simple as, Magical Express or as big as Magical Express comes back. I think we'll get Walt Disney World property news, but not park news, because I think they're going to save all the park news for like the 2026's D23, and this is more of a supplement versus some of the non-fancy stuff that they're not going to put in, like the Honda Center where million people are watching type of thing.
Actually, I'll give a second one. Once you mentioned Animal Kingdom, just with the third movie coming out, and I know he talked about maybe wanting to do it, maybe a new film for Flight of Passage.
Oh, I like that. Flight of Passage film, or new Flight of Passage film. That's a good prediction, especially with the new movie coming out. They might want to tease something.
James Cameron
like
kind of talked about maybe wanting to update it for the last one and stuff, so maybe they'll.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And you know what? Teasing Zootopia in Animal Kingdom is not really a surprise announcement, is it? That's kind of expected if we're going to get a teaser, and they might do it because it'll be opening in like 3 or 4 months from there, type of thing. But I wouldn't classify that as a surprise announcement. That's like, you could easily guess that that's something they might do.
Right.
Show off maybe like concept art of the show type of thing. All right, I think those are good predictions. We went very long on this show, so thank you everybody for watching and listening. Phil, is there anything that we forgot that we need to?
No, just a reminder of our social media accounts. We are the DBC Pod everywhere, and of course the Discord server. So,
and again, I really apologize everybody for my nasal nose, because now it's like start of the show clear. Then it progressed to one side of my nasal cavity. Now both are completely gone, and I guarantee you can actually watch it or hear it. So I'm sorry about that, but it's winter. Yay. That being said, thank you for everybody for watching and listening. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
take care.